Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Sinners. From the very first frame, Sinners grips you like a fever dream, equal parts Southern Gothic horror, historical drama, and a supernatural blues opera. Directed by Ryan Coogler and backed by a powerhouse cast, this is a movie that blends racial trauma, myth, and music into something bold, strange, and unforgettable. Quick heads up, this review will contain spoilers here and there, but I'll do my best to avoid them. Sinners opens in 1932, Clarksdale, Mississippi, as twin World War I veterans and gangsters Smoke and Stack return home to build a juke joint for their black community. They recruit their cousin Sammy to play music with Delta Slim, Annie to cook, Cornbread to run security, and the Chinese couple Grace and Bo Chow to supply the opening night. The entire first half of this movie is pure character and world building. I loved it. I like how character relationships and cultural layers are established well before we even get hints that this is a vampire horror movie. The first half of this film is grounded and very strong. We grow to know and love each character largely thanks to their writing and great performances. Michaelbjordan is awesome in this movie. I've seen a couple of movies this year where an actor plays two versions of himself, like in The Monkey or Mickey 17. I think it's a fun trope, especially when the actor does a really good job. MBJ is fantastic as both Smoke and Stack. I love how Smoke is more pragmatic and rooted, and Stack is more restless and impulsive. Even though they look the same, they have very distinct personalities in their posture, gaze, speech, and emotional weight. Another standout is milescaton as Sammy Moore. He's a gifted musician in real life, and I love how he brings his talents to this movie. For a debut acting gig, he couldn't have given a better performance. He's such a good player that his music can transcend time and space. It gives a spiritual weight to his character and makes him the true main character of this movie. I also love how his character plays off of the mythos of Robert Johnson and his deal with the devil. Hailee Steinfeld and Wunmimosaku both play incredible characters who keep the twins grounded. I love how Mary has conflicted emotions. She's hurt by Stack's abandonment and has a desire to belong. Annie is a great representation of Bayou Cajun folklore and mysticism. I love that her knowledge helps give some safety to our characters. All other supporting cast and characters like Delta Slim, Cornbread, Perlin, and Grace and Bo Chow are awesome. They truly round out the community. Also, you can pick tons of lightly touched themes from each character. Mary is white passing and will never truly be part of the black community. The Chows support black cultural expression as long as they're not in danger. Once they have their own problems to deal with, they turn their backs on the community. It may or may not be right, but I understand it. The point is, each character represents something and has their own motivations, and that's what makes the community feel real. I saved my favorite character for last. It was easily Remmick, played by Jack O'Connell. I love that he's an Irish immigrant because Irish immigrants were not welcomed in early America. They were denied jobs and faced awful working conditions when they got them. I love that this helps Remmick relate to the twins and their community because Remmick knows what it's like to suffer and be driven out of a home. I think Remmick is a very sympathetic villain in this movie because he misses his friends and family, and all he wants is to be reunited with his people. Like the Chows, it doesn't make his actions right or justifiable, but understandable. My only complaint about this movie is that the vampires feel watered down and low stakes. For starters, I love the hive mind aspect of the vampires. I love that they're all connected, but they keep their own personalities. I love that the vampires are a representation of assimilation and how the most alive you'll ever feel is with your own culture. I disagree with that statement, but I completely understand why people feel that way. I also understand that Remmick is a call out of the music industry and how they take advantage of people. Remmick doesn't actually care about Sammy, he just wants to use him. It's a good theme and very relatable. The thing I didn't like about the vampires in this movie is that they don't ever do anything high stakes or vampire-like. Part of that is because we rarely see them biting necks and killing victims. Mary is the only one who comes to mind, and even then she runs out of the building instead of attacking the others. We get the same issue with Stack. Rather than attacking the people within the building, he runs out. He could have turned more of them into vampires before they even had a chance to fight back. So the second half of this movie, especially the climax, feels staged. The other thing that made the vampires feel weak was the climax. 50 plus vampires would overwhelm 6 people in seconds. If the vampires were as dangerous as they should have been, the climax wouldn't have even been a climax. It just felt stretched out for the sake of the characters, and seeing the 6 survivors have an impressive standoff didn't make sense to me. I think Remmick on his own should have been able to take on all of the survivors as a master vampire. Don't get me wrong, I like the vampires in this movie, I just don't think the movie fully capitalizes on them and the horror aspect they could bring to the film. Visually, I think this movie is excellent. I love the 70mm grain. I love how the juke joint is drenched in warm, smoky tones, saturated colors, and spinning camera movement. Sammy's trance-like performance was fantastic, and my girlfriend and I think it's worth the hype. Her brother's a rapper and thought it was incredibly goofy along with every other member of her family, so that's just a caution that this movie doesn't land for everyone. For me, what I really loved about this movie was the setting. I have zero doubt in my mind that Sinners completely killed Marvel's Blade period piece, and I'm okay with that. I don't trust Marvel to treat Blade with respect, and I'm happy that this is the vampire period piece we got instead. The 1930s Mississippi setting is great. Whether it's the shops, train station, cotton fields, or sawmill turned juke joint, everything felt authentic. I love the period accurate costumes and won't be surprised if this movie is nominated for an Oscar. Equally as good as the cinematography and setting, the score by Ludwig Göransson fuses blues tradition with modern orchestration. It's powerful enough to pierce the veil between life and death. There's something about blues music that always hits. My favorite live music performance I've ever experienced was at a blues club in Spain. I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. because they were jamming, and this movie perfectly captured that experience for me. One of the best things about the music is that it felt perfectly in place. Whether it was the blues music or even Remmick's fantastic Irish jig, I completely bought into all of it. The final thing I'll say is that the ending is very wholesome. Smoke's standoff against the KKK and being reunited in death with his family is touching. It's something that Marion Stack will never experience, and it's a great portrayal of how we should live in and enjoy our moments as we get them.
Wanted to give you a chance to talk about Sinners and why it's your favorite movie of the year.
I absolutely loved the soundtrack. I seriously downloaded it as soon as we got out of the theater. I was like, this is gold. Like, it was one movie I wish I could have watched again for the first time.
What'd you think of Michael B. Jordan?
He's a very handsome man. And I love that he was able to play two separate characters. And at first when I watched it, I was like, is there two Michael B. Jordans? But then obviously there's not. So I was like, oh my gosh, he played both those characters very well.
Michael A. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
That's what I was going to say, but I was like, is that kind of lame?
Any final thoughts?
Watch it if you haven't, because it's amazing.
Sinners is one of those rare movies that feels alive with history, music, and soul. Ryan Coogler builds a world so rich and lived in that even when the vampires and climax lack stakes, the characters, performances, and atmosphere keep it compelling. Michael B. Jordan's dual turn as Smoke and Stack, Milescaton's breakout as Sammy, and Jack O'Connell's sympathetic yet menacing Remmick give the story real heart and texture. The cinematography, production design, and Ludwig Göransson's blues-infused score elevate the material into something mythic and unforgettable. This movie isn't perfect, but it's still a bold, haunting, and beautifully crafted film that rewards multiple viewings. If you're craving a Southern Gothic vampire story with heart, history, and hypnotic music, Sinners is absolutely worth your time. Thank you for listening to my review of Sinners. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego, and I will see you next time.